Steve, update us on what we know about these new details involving Pete Hegseth, Trump's pick for U.S. Defense Secretary.
Yeah, this is an incident that first came to light in the days after Trump nominated Hegseth to become his defense secretary, after a very quick period where he was considering other names and suddenly pivoted to Hegseth. And here's what we are learning from Hegseth's attorney. The attorney said that Hegseth paid a woman who accused him of sexual assault in a settlement agreement that also included a confidentiality clause. Now, this is all dating back to an October 2017 incident, which his lawyer describes as, quote, a consensual sexual encounter. Now, they are also pointing out, and we should point out ourselves, that he was not charged. The city of Monterey, California, where this took place, will not be releasing the full report at this time. We did try to reach out to the victim in this case, and she declined to be interviewed, partially because she was not sure what she was allowed to authorize to say due to this confidentiality agreement. We do not know how much the settlement was for, and we are told by the lawyer that he agreed to this settlement because he was worried about losing his job at Fox News. This all transpired during the middle of the Me Too movement, in which several Fox News high-profile figures were caught up in some of the accusations. Fred?
All right. Steve Contorno, thanks so much. All right, joining me right now to talk more about Trump's transition is Tia Mitchell. She is a Washington correspondent for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Tia, great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So what lengths is Trump going to take to make sure his picks, like Gates, can endure scrutiny?
So right now, it's looking like his mode is to put pressure on Republicans, particularly in the Senate, both privately and publicly. He's also floated the idea of recess appointments, basically having the Senate kind of avoid voting on some of these more controversial cabinet picks altogether by allowing Trump to appoint them when Congress is not in session. The question is, will Trump dig in or will the Senate? We've heard from top senators, even Trump allies, who've indicated they want to treat these cabinet appointees like any other, which means hearings, which means committee stops before you get to the floor, which means a vote on the floor. Who's going to give? Because we know that when you bring some of these more controversial picks, like Gates, like Hegseth, there might not be the votes to confirm them. We don't know what Trump would do then, but we also don't know if there are enough Republicans who are willing to go against who Trump wants to serve on his cabinet and actually vote against Trump appointees.
Oh, we'll get to a little bit of that in a minute too. And I wonder, your thoughts on this, because earlier today, House Speaker Mike Johnson told our Jake Tapper the House Ethics Committee report on Gates should not be released because Gates resigned Congress. So is it the case potentially that the U.S. Senate will subpoena the report, or at least the committee will subpoena the report?
So that's another question about whether there are Republicans who are willing to side with Democrats, for example, to vote to subpoena the reports, to vote to bring Matt Gaetz in for hearings and questioning, what other people they might want to hear from. There have been, there's precedent for confirmation hearings to bring in, other speakers, other witnesses,
like witnesses,
other character witnesses. Yes, we've seen that with Supreme Court justice confirmations. So there are other things they could do in addition to trying to get their hands on the report. Again, to me, the big question is, are there Republicans who are willing to risk getting on Trump's bad side by, pushing back on these appointees, by pushing to get that report? There's also a question, quite frankly, the more people ask for the report, the more
pressure
of a possibility it leaks.
Right. Okay. And so now more on the who will side with whom. Maybe this is another little window into that, because this morning on the Sunday talk shows, a few members of Congress described, both the landscape on Capitol Hill and navigating it under the incoming administration. Take a listen.
We have a unified government now because of Donald J. Trump. No one else. Donald J. Trump made that happen. And so now it is incumbent upon the House of Representatives and the Senate to look at President Trump's agenda and his mission statement. He's going to have a mission statement. And we do not waver off that mission statement. We follow it, every single word of it.
These people are manifestly unqualified and you know, they're not prepared to run the very complicated organizations they've been asked to run. Well, the Republican senator who votes to confirm Matt Gaetz or Robert Kennedy or Tulsi Gabbard will be remembered by history as somebody who completely gave up their responsibility to Donald